Okay, welcome to our tutorial. Guys, you recognize this as our monster editor form. It's the same one that we created in class. I've made no changes to the form itself, but I have made substantial changes to the code, and we'll get to that in a second. Remember, this is the editor that we're going to use whenever you create a new monster for your game world. You're going to pull up the editor here, and you're going to type in all the information for your monster, and then it's going to store it in our world database, which is that Excel spreadsheet file. I'll just pull that spreadsheet file up for you here. Here is our spreadsheet, and again, this is the same one we created in class. This is the same demo I showed you. We've got all these values here that we're going to store for every monster. The only thing I've added up here is this particular cell, and this is going to help us track the size of our database, the number of monsters in our database. When this obviously says 3, we have 3 monsters here. When it says 4, we have 4 monsters, and so on. And you'll notice in the comment markers in the code itself, I'll show you how this is actually calculated. Here's your formula right here, and it's equal to count. Let me click on, there we go. It counts the number of numbers in this row. So it ignores the word level here, and since these are all ones here, it's going to add these up. So it's going to be 1, 1, 2 ones, 3 ones, and so on as we go along. So it just tracks really the number of monsters in our database. And no, we don't want to save changes. All right, so let's quickly remind you how to bring in these Excel COM objects. You click on the project menu, and you're going to go down to add reference, which is there. Make sure you switch over to the COM tab, and then just click on the first item on here and then tap the letter M. That'll quickly jump through. You notice this is a really big list of COM items. So if you tap on the letter M, and we're going to work our way down to Microsoft Excel. And where's Excel? Down here a little bit further. There it is. That's the one you want right there, Microsoft Excel 12. 0.0 object layer. Click OK. When you're done, once you've done that, that'll allow you to import Excel files. Let's quickly toggle over to my code here. Remember, you need this line up top here to actually bring in the Excel file, the .com objects for creating Excel files. And then inside our code, this is stuff you've already seen already. This is our array for our monster, and we've got 16 boxes for it, index 0 through 15. This you've also seen before. This is the stuff that allows us to actually create the pathway to that Excel file, as well as create a local copy of that. So we can edit the local copy, the one that's bundled in with our particular program, and then once we save it, it saves it to the actual file. You can't edit the file real time, or you could, I suppose, but it's probably not the best idea. It would be horribly inefficient. So we're going to edit the local copy and then write to it when we're done. And of course, this is the variable I'm going to use to track the number of monsters in our database. All right, so let's quickly move down here and have a quick look. When I click on the File Save menu, that's this guy right here, it's going to save all of the data that you as the designer have typed in all of these form objects, right? We've got our text box for our level, we've got a text box for our name, and so on and so on. As we work our way through. And it stores them in this local array, this array that we've created that has all these different spaces. So we go from 0 to 14 and we store all our values in there. And you know, this is exactly what you've done in class. If you look down here is where the magic happens. I'm just going to scroll down a bit. Okay, so we've created this local spreadsheet that we're going to use. I'll pull up the load menu first. It's probably the one you're going to want to look at. Instead of like our character editor that we loaded it when we went and clicked on the create character button, this particular one, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to have it load up automatically. So again, I'm using the same code that I used before. This creates our local spreadsheet. The only thing I've changed here is, you notice this says monsters instead of characters because it's going to use a different tab. And then down at the bottom here, this is the one that's going to go and grab the data that's in our cells that represents the number of monsters in our spreadsheet, and we're going to use that to calculate the number of monsters that are there. I'm actually going to delete this because this is for testing purposes. All right, so then once that's been imported on the load screen, I'm going to come back up here, and again we type in all the data in our form. That's all these guys here, and then we're going to toggle back down here. We hop down into the lower part of this save button, and we're going to do the following. This guy here, this loop here, just simply says, okay, what slot are we dealing with in our spreadsheet? And that's calculated off the number of monsters plus 2. that will give us the next available slot in that spreadsheet. And it's really just calculated based on the fact that our thing starts at 0. We got to add 1 for that, and we've also got certain number of so we got one column of data for our label. This writes all of the data to those particular cells, and then we want to save our workbook. We want to close our workbook. We want to close our app, and then we want to close the form. And that's everything that's our Excel application. Then we want to close the form, and that's it. It's relatively straightforward, and I'll show you how it works. You've got the code here. I'm just going to hit play, and let me shrink this guy here. All right, here's our form with this really ugly echo in the background. That has nothing to do with my code. That's this goofy codec I'm using. All right, so the first monster we're going to put in here is called Test Monster 1. And we're going to make him melee type. And we're going to make him level 2. 2 there. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to fill everything else in at 2. Just using the tab and the 2 key. And he is going to drop a sword, and then we're going to click on the menu button, and we're going to save the monster. Boy, this is really ugly, this codec. I hope it doesn't show up on the video, but on my screen this looks really bad. Alright, so what I'm going to do is close the Excel file. We've saved the monster. I'm going to pull up the Excel file in Excel now, and you'll see from before we had these 3 guys, and here's our Test Monster 1. And again, it's got the name, everything that we typed in there. He's got a sword there. Alright, good enough. Let's close that off. And let's run our app again. And this time, we are going to use Test Monster 2. And this guy here is going to be a spirit type. He's going to be level, I don't know, let's go 3. 3 tab, all the way down. And then we're going to save this, menu, save monster, closes off our form, and I'll pull up our Excel document again, and there's our new monster right there. That's all there is to it, guys. And again, this is using the same concepts that we developed in class with the Excel spreadsheet, importing it and using it as our database. And that's all she wrote.